Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello friends. In this video, I'm going to talk about the coronary circulation. As you already know, the coronary circulation is related to the circulation of blood through the heart. As you already know this point as well, that this heart is always filled with the blood, but that very blood is not enough to fulfill the needs of the heart, to pump the blood to provide the oxygen and provide the nutrients by means of a simple diffusion. So there should be a proper system of circulation which is related to the cardiac muscles or the myocardium of the heart. That is to be discussed in this lecture, so stay tuned. Let's start. Coronary circulation. It is the shortest circulation in the body because the heart muscles are bathed with the oxygen rich blood and the nutrients. We can use these two diagrams. I have marked with the different colors so that you can get the right information, or you can understand the points very well. So it is the shortest circulation in the body. We can divide the coronary circulation into two main parts. Means the oxygenated blood and the nutrients are provided by means of the coronary arteries, while the venous blood is collected by means of a venous supply, or we can say the coronary veins. So let us try to understand what is this arterial system and the venous system of blood supply and the arterial system of blood supply. Now I will discuss firstly the arterial supply of the blood, which is provided by the coronary arteries to the heart. Arterial supply, it consists of coronary arteries, and you must remember that these coronary arteries arise from the base of the aorta. This is the base of the aorta. Aorta means the largest artery of the body, which provides the oxygen blood to the body tissues. So here is a base. The basal part of the aorta is the origin of coronary arteries, and coronary arteries, obviously it's of two types, or we can see the left coronary artery and right coronary artery. It depends upon the where they are located in the heart, because you know that heart has right part and left part. So we have divided it into the right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. I'll mention with the help of this marker. This is a left coronary artery, this is a right coronary artery, and now the right coronary artery I want to discuss before you. This right coronary artery, it's also arises from the base of the aorta. This is the right coronary artery, which gets further divided into the marginal artery and the posterior interventricular artery. The marginal artery is like this. This is the red line. It constitutes the marginal artery, and this marginal artery supplies blood to the myocardium of the lateral right side of the heart. This is the right side of the heart, and it is the lateral side of the heart. This lateral side is provided with the blood by means of marginal artery. And on the other hand, there is another artery which is found on the posterior side of the heart, that is called posterior interventricular artery. That is also the part of right coronary artery. This posterior interventricular artery, which I have mentioned with the help of dotted red lines, it runs to the apex of the heart here. This is the posterior interventricular artery, and it gets anastomosed with the anterior interventricular artery. Anastomosis means it gets merged. The two arteries, one is found on the anterior side of the heart ventricles, and second is the posterior side of the heart. They get merged with each other at a point at the apex of the heart. That very point of merging is called the anastomosis. That means anastomosis means junction of blood vessels. So what does it do? It supplies, this posterior interventricular artery supplies blood to the posterior ventricular walls of the heart. You must remember this point as well. Then similarly, there is left coronary artery. that also gets arised from the base of the aorta. It also has two branches. One is called the anterior interventricular artery, and the circumflex artery. This anterior interventricular artery follows a groove or the sulcus called the anterior interventricular sulcus. Anterior interventricular sulcus means there are grooves, or the sulcus means a depression in the heart on the ventricles which separates the right ventricle from the left ventricle, and that very groove is followed by the anterior interventricular artery. And then this anterior interventricular artery, it provides blood to the anterior interventricular septum. That means the anterior side of the septum of the ventricle is provided the oxygenated blood by the anterior interventricular artery. And second point, anterior walls of the both ventricles are also supplied by the anterior interventricular artery. So this was the information regarding right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. Once again I will tell you, the coronary artery supplies oxygenated blood to the heart on the anterior side and the posterior side. Second artery which comes out from the left coronary artery, that's called the circumflex artery. This is the circumflex artery which we can say it provides blood, oxygenated blood to the left atrium and the posterior walls of the left ventricle. It gets twisted on the back side of the heart, and it provides oxygenated blood to the left atrium and the posterior walls of the left ventricle. So right coronary artery and the left coronary artery provides oxygenated blood to the heart wholly and solely. Another point, there is a merging of posterior interventricular artery and the anterior interventricular artery with each other at a point that's called the apex of the heart. And what happens then? These two arteries plus the other arteries which are responsible to furnish the oxygenated blood to the right atrium and the whole right ventricle. And one more interesting point is related to the coronary circulation. That is, 4% of the people of the world, 4% of the people of the world have only the coronary artery which gives branches and provides oxygenated blood to the this heart, and 15% of the people of the world have left coronary artery. This left coronary artery which gives rise to the anterior interventricular artery and the posterior interventricular artery and other branches, then furnishes blood or provides the oxygen rich blood to the heart muscles, or we can say the myocardium of the heart. On the other hand, here is a venous blood. Before discussing the venous supply of the heart, certain points are more important regarding the arterial supply. So this heart, what it called as it receives the oxygenated blood only when the heart is in relaxed condition. It sometimes there is a certain kind of a hindrance when the ventricles are closed, because the closure of the ventricles, or when the ventricles gets closed to pump the blood out of the heart, the coronary arteries, the base of the coronary artery gets blocked due to the aortic semilunar volume. So the hindrance occurs in the supply of oxygenated blood and the nutrients to the heart when there is a closure of the ventricles at the time of ventricular, this we can say is the systole of the heart. So it receives the plentiful or intermittent supply of the oxygen only when the heart is in resting phase, or we can say in a relaxed condition. So another supply of the blood, when the heart muscles or because the myocardium is bathed with an oxygenated blood as well as the nutrients, then the exchange of the gases takes place at the capillary bed of the cardiac muscles. Then there is an exchange of oxygen and there is a retention of carbon dioxide by these capillaries, and then this venous blood, or we can say the oxygen poor blood and the carbon dioxide rich blood, is received by the arteries, collectively called as the cardiac these veins called the cardiac veins, and the supply of the blood constitutes the venous supply of the blood. So these cardiac veins, there are various types of cardiac veins and it depends upon where they are located. Second diagram I will use this diagram of the heart. I have used the blue marker, and that means these vessels, or we can say these cardiac veins receives the deoxygenated blood. I have used the blue marker here. Here are some this bold lines, which means that these blood vessels are found on the anterior side of the heart, and some dotted lines I have this patched on the heart. This means these vessels are found on the posterior side of the heart. So this is a great cardiac vein, this is middle cardiac vein, and this is small cardiac vein. These are the tributaries of this we can see the cardiac veins. These cardiac veins together constitute the coronary sinus. This is the coronary sinus, which collects the blood, deoxygenated blood, from the great cardiac vein, middle cardiac vein, and the small cardiac vein. Then this coronary sinus empties this deoxygenated blood into the right atrium, and has certain anterior cardiac veins also, which directly pours the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. Then this is the arterial supply and the venous supply. That means the heart is provided with the oxygen blood with the help of coronary arteries, while as the venous blood is collected with the help of cardiac veins and the coronary we can say the coronary sinus, and then the ejection, or we can say the emptying of these we can say the myocardium by these veins into the right atrium. Here is a pathological condition, or we can say the homeostatic imbalances related to the coronary circulation. Means if there is a hindrance in the supplying of the oxygen to blood and the nutrients to the heart, what happens? First one is called the angina pectoris. I have wrote on the board with the help of a red marker. Angina pectoris means choked chest. Means when the coronary arteries gets blocked, and then the oxygenated blood doesn't go, or we can say reach toward the myocardium, and then occurs a pain in the chest that creates an condition called the angina pectoris. But it is temporary in nature. The cardiac muscles don't die, but they get weakened. Another condition that's called the myocardial infarction. This is called the heart attack. What happens in myocardial infarction? In myocardial infarction, there is a prolonged deficiency, or we can say the prolonged closure of the this coronary arteries, due to certain kinds of spasms or the environmental stress or any other case may be. What happens? The oxygen rich blood doesn't go toward the myocardial cells. Then the myocardial cells gets died, and then they change into, or gets, or we can say they replaced by the scar tissue, and it depends upon the extent and the location of the damage where it occurs, but it is very dangerous and fatal when there is the we can say the less supply of oxygen towards the left ventricle, because the left ventricle is responsible to provide the oxygenated blood to the all tissues of the body. So when it gets hindered, or it gets weakened due to the less supply of the oxygen, so the left ventricle doesn't what it called the contract and relax normally. Then the oxygenated blood, or the oxygen rich blood, doesn't go towards the all cells of the body, and then it's a fatal condition to the individual. I think I have used these two diagrams, as well as I have furnished this information which I have wrote on the board. Hope that you have enjoyed the video. Please subscribe my channel and hit the notification button so that you will get the instant notification whenever I uploaded the video on the YouTube. And plus go on the comment section and write the comments, and then like my videos as well. Thanks a lot.